Hello, everyone. Want to make a quick announcement before the show. I don't know if I forget if I mentioned it last time. But Skyrim Addict and the Fallout feed, some of the hosts anyway, right now it is Victor, Pat, and myself, will be appearing at the Philadelphia Podcast Festival on, sorry, I lost the date, July 16th. Sunday, July 16th, 5 p.m., Tattooed Moms on South Street. Nice little bar on South Street. Pretty cool. But anyway, for all the information about that, it's phillypodfest.com. And you can check out the schedule there. There's a bunch of other, a lot of local shows and some, I guess, some national shows as well. Some bigger shows they brought in this year. Let's see. Appearing the same day as us in the same venue. Doom Thugs. Maybe that's about Doom. I'm not sure. I would have to look that up. Everything is Awesome, which is an interview podcast that I actually just started listening to this week that I enjoyed quite a bit. Wake the F Up podcast, which I haven't heard yet. I will have to check that out. How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up? A Skyrim Addict at 5 p.m. Dissecting the 80s. They're dissecting 80s movies. Pretty funny. And Highlander Rewatched, which is obviously pretty self-explanatory there. But yeah, if you want to come to see it, it is free. You just walk into the venue. It is absolutely free. If you need any more information, you can email me here at askyrimaddictpodcast@gmail.com or have any other questions about it or whatever. But yeah, hopefully if you either listen to the Fallout feed or this, definitely, or Chatterbox or whatever, definitely come on out. Hopefully, hoping to have some stuff for some giveaways and things like that, and just have some fun, talk for an hour about the different shows and all. So that's Sunday, July 16th. Keep an ear up for that. I'll be mentioning it constantly until then. So, all right, on to the show. I'll be talking to the guys from Character Crusade on this one. I haven't actually talked to them yet, so hopefully that's what happens. All right. Welcome to a Skyrim Addict podcast, where I will discuss my adventures and misadventures through Skyrim. Join me. Add your stories, add your tales. Let's get into this thing. Alrighty, if you haven't already been hearing, welcome back, Skyrim Addict Podcast 123. I am with Victor. Is with me,
hey.
With his Manhattan, and the gentleman from Couch Warrior TV / Character Crusade, Stu, Matt, and Joe.
Greetings.
Hello.
They are just joining us from the wasteland.
Yeah, that is not untrue.
But not the teenage wasteland.
Not the teenage, yes.
Yeah, Matt's our resident super mutant.
Now you've broken into the Boston Brewery and had a few while you were in Beantown, we'll say.
Exactly.
Sam Adams has been closed for 200 years.
and a good thing, too.
Right.
I don't know. I don't mind Sam Adams stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
That's about all I can say about it.
Yeah. I would say it's better than like Yingling and stuff. So
Yeah. It's really good for like washing your tires out and stuff.
Yeah. I think I'm the only masshole in the audience, so or on the
No. Some of us grew up in Amherst.
Oh,
really?
You can.
We got a fair share of driving out Route 2 by Athol, by the way.
So I grew up and lived until I was 58, which was 2 years ago, in Northampton.
Nice.
Wow.
Hey, there's a really fantastic couple of coffee shops in Northampton.
Mm-hmm.
A little town.
Bakeries and all kinds of stuff. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So we left from Massachusetts and went south to the Connecticut shoreline.
Oh,
God.
Where then we were absconded off to the ice and snow wasteland.
Yes.
Minnesota.
You wanted to find somewhere colder to live.
Yeah, exactly. Because we
want to go to Canada, but where can I find that's more miserable?
Yeah.
something that isn't just soaking cold is just freezing cold.
need a lot of snow, but wind would be great.
Yeah.
6 months of ice.
Yeah.
Less snow, incredibly windy, incredibly cold.
Yeah.
But you had Prince.
We did. We still have Prince.
Well, you always have Prince.
We'll always have Prince.
I feel like there is a lot of great music in Minnesota, though. It's weird. And
Yeah.
actually,
There is,
there's a lot of podcasting in Minnesota, too, oddly enough. But I guess that's because of people have to stay inside all winter.
There's something weird in the water.
Yeah, I know.
Could be.
Is it because you can't leave the house for 6 months?
Quite a bit. I've noticed there's only one good podcast though. In Minneapolis area in particular, and in a probably about 100-yard radius around the building we're in right now. There's
100-yard
one podcast.
You are the greatest
this-
audience we've ever broadcast to tonight in the last few minutes.
Nice logo too. I like that.
Oh, thank you.
That's fairly new, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a recent rebranding effort that started a couple of weeks ago.
Do you have any idea how much trouble it was for him to roll his hands over the velour of that couch to get it just to spec?
Nice highlights there.
I swear to God.
He liked the noise of rubbing his hands on the corduroy. But the velour was
Yeah. I've been struggling with that couch in Photoshop for 6 years now. Trying to figure out what the hell to do with it.
But finally got all the cat hair off.
I feel like that's an impossible
Great
task.
idea. Oh, I'll call it Couch Warrior TV. Now what?
Now what?
I don't.
Good thing you got the
Not
letters.
the name.
Yeah.
Well, here's why is the YouTube channel a different name from the podcast?
Well, the YouTube channel started first. So I started the YouTube channel as just a way to kind of share my adventures in Skyrim, right? I was looking for a way to do that. At the time, none of my friends were playing the game, and I thought, I can find a way to kind of share this. Why not do a YouTube channel? I'll try making a video. I got a game capture card for my Xbox and just kind of started recording my play. Apparently, there was something distinctive about the way that I played because people started watching it, which baffled me completely.
Might have been the 11 billion hours of footage that you put up.
There weren't 11 billion.
9 billion, I believe.
My first Let's Play was freaking awful, too. I mean, it made it to like 13 episodes or something like that before I realized how awful it was. And like, I got to start over. I got to come up with something new because this ain't working. Yeah, I realized I didn't have a gift for playing a battle mage at all. I didn't know what I was doing. Had no idea.
Was that Sagramore?
No, that was the Book of Sable. That was
Oh.
So, anyway, yeah, it started out with Couch Warrior TV, and then a couple of years later, I talked to these fellas about doing a podcast because at that time Joe had started playing as well. We were having all these great conversations on the phone about things we were doing in game, and throwing around ideas about role play and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what? If we said all this shit we're saying right now on the mic, people might actually be interested in what we're talking about. So that's kind of how it ended up being a different thing entirely. But the YouTube channel then ended up being another vehicle for kind of distributing the podcast. I guess,
Well, yeah,
since I
because
had
it was
an
already
audience.
established, so it was no sense in trying to reestablish something that was kind of already there. So
Yeah, just use what already has people in it. Yeah.
Yep.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the story with that.
No, that makes sense then. I don't think I had asked. Oh, no, that's right. Why would I ask? I was on with you guys. You guys were in control last time. So last week I had actually had Steve on from Skyrim Book Club last week.
oh, awesome!
And,
I'm going to talk to him.
Yeah, he's such a good dude. I love talking to him.
How
But
far along are they with completing?
oh
everything?
gosh, I think
he's a ways out.
he's about halfway. I think he said there's about 800 books. He's
Yeah,
not
something
quite
like
just under halfway, and he's like 350.
Think about
or so,
that.
yeah.
Halfway done with producing the audio for
Yeah.
all of the books in Skyrim. That's
That's pretty amazing.
amazing.
It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to banter with him back and forth a little bit off, through Twitter and whatever. But yeah, he's fun to follow.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude, and yeah, I can't believe. I mean, every day one's coming out. He said he missed one day this year, so it's like, Jesus.
And he's still halfway.
And he's still only not even halfway yet. Yeah, only 500 books to go or something like that. But
well, yeah, I mean, it's including all the spell tomes and all that stuff, I believe.
I think we were trying to. Yeah, I think that was with the spell tomes and all that. So I think he figured it was like 100 less than that with subtracting that stuff.
A lot, still a lot.
Yeah, it's still a lot of recording, definitely.
Fantastic endeavor, though.
Oh my gosh, that'll be amazing to have around.
Yeah, I was thinking about following his lead. Doing books of Fallout, but I only found one book so far.
Fallout.
Yeah, it's just an overdue library book I found.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah, you could read the Super Mutant Mission, dramatic reading of that. That would be good.
Yeah, there's all these holotapes and whatnot. I'll probably just read those.
Read
all the stuff on the hacking monitors.
Yeah. I'm gonna read like the hacking scripts.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Interpretive dance.
Yes. Yes. Blah 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 blah. Hell. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Curly bracket, square bracket.
Find the duds. Yeah.
Locked out.
It is very special. I think what he's doing is very, very cool. The way he's putting it together too is just so professional.
Yeah, it is. It's really. I'm impressed that he's been able to keep it at such a pace, and he's doing most of them himself at this point, which is amazing.
Well, yeah, because he's got a lot going on off the mic as well.
Yeah, another kid on the way, school, and all that. Like, hey. That's amazing.
It is.
Well, you can automate everything that gets recorded for the books of Skyrim and turn it into a special GPS edition made from the books of Skyrim.
So when you hit the area
that would be, oh God.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah. I've often thought it would be kind of cool to do sort of like audio that was the museum guided tour of something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you go to a location in a city like Markarth, for example, and it's like, put on your headphones, beep, and it tells you something about more from that area. Look to your left.
You'll notice the headstone.
That's amazing. That is an amazing idea. Like
on your right, if you go to the basement, you'll find Moleg Ball.
Exactly. But yeah, something like that. I thought that would be kind of interesting.
There are so many little details that people miss, so that actually would be useful and entertaining.
The only reason considered I didn't actually do it is just the idea of trying to make sure that I understood all the lore for a particular area was just sounded awful.
That can be a little daunting.
It's a lot of work.
And the fact that you'd have to say, turn around. No, turn around. No, turn around.
No matter how much you know about the lore, there's always someone else who knows more.
Just a little
more. And they could always retcon it, so.
Just more lore for them. Sometimes it's contradictory.
All right. Well, let's give them back their podcast.
No, this is how the podcast goes. This is what we do. We just
this card and we just took over.
We just randomly talk about stuff. But I was when I was talking to Steve last week, I was like, it's pretty amazing that there's still at least 3 or 4 or 5 shows dedicated to Skyrim that are still around 6 years after the game came out. I was like,
I know,
this is so bizarre.
Well, how do you guys do it? Because I mean, there are times when we're all talking on the phone like, what the hell are we going to talk about? I feel like we've milked everything there is to milk.
Never had that thought.
Come up with something, but
yeah, I get a call from Stu, 3 days before. You got yes.
I got nothing.
No.
Skyrim.
Well, it's surely a testament to the game. It's sort of infinitely repeatable. So there's almost infinite amounts of things you can talk about. I think you guys do some of the most innovative role playing, and that's certainly what makes your podcast unique and your video content unique. But Skyrim is one of the sort of the purest role playing video games there is. So it's not that hard to continue to create content. I mean,
Yeah, plus we always have an influx of people, I feel like. Like there's always some new voices kind of coming in, especially through the roundtables and stuff.
Oh, sure.
So we always...
Yeah, the roundtable's been a real sort of constant...
kind of rejuvenates us every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's easy to forget sometimes that, you know, even though everyone here has probably put in a few thousand hours into this game, there's still people out there who are experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah, somebody who picked it up in a bin for $20 and is like,
oh, right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Or that their dad bought for them.
Yeah. I don't want to think that there was somebody who was 6 and who is now 12 is like playing the game, because that disturbs me. So I don't want to consider how much, what percentage of our lives have been dedicated to.
That's true. That's why you don't check your Steam stats.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for putting that in my head. No, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. God dang it.
Thankfully, I've played on multiple platforms, so it's like it's all broken up, and I can never really check how much I've played, and it's all just a guesstimate, and I can just lie.
So you're really saying take what you know and multiply by 3.
Yeah.
Now, sadly, I've only ever played on the PC, so I kind of
It's
can.
all right there, right in your face.
I'm afraid to check.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I sort of, even though I started on Xbox, I bought 2 discs.
Well, yeah, because you wore one out.
I wore one out. Yeah,
We literally wore the lamination off of it.
Like, my game started glitching, and I pulled the disc out, and like it's coming all unlaminated or whatever. Like, I gotta get another one. I gotta do this, you know. And so I'm like looking all over. Where's the cheapest one I can? I'll just buy it full price. I don't care.
I can't believe that you just didn't take a picture of it and put it up on Twitter and say, "Is this the build quality?"
Yeah. See if they'd comp me one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, at that time, they didn't know I was going to be a Skyrim podcaster. I didn't have that kind of leverage.
That's
Now, look at me.
I'm not sure they know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what kind of sway that has.
Almost no leverage.
Yeah.
Put that leverage away. This is a family show.
Yeah, I'm not sure what leverage that has. I'm not sure. I've never gotten anything, so.
Yeah.
Nor have I ever asked for anything, so.
I think if you played a game long enough, you've delaminated the game disc.
That's intense. Yeah.
And spinning for a bazillion hours. You ought to get some sort of remuneration for that.
Apparently, you only get comped if you're like shot.
If the disc shatters and
if it flies out of the
or
machine.
something.
What?
No, there was a posting. I think it was on Twitter. Some guy was carrying his Skyrim. I can't even remember. It was like a book of some sort.
Oh, one of the books.
Yeah, it's like one of the collectors, something or another. But he actually got shot, and it pierced the book, and it saved him.
Wow, neat.
Wow. Damn.
Literally saved by Skyrim.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
amazing.
So Bethesda did comp him a new copy.
Well, yeah. So you got to get shot to get Bethesda
That's
to pay
all.
any attention to what you're doing.
Well, technically, he
That's
didn't
my
get
takeaway.
shot.
I don't know if that's true, but that's my takeaway.
Yeah. Technically, he didn't get shot because the bullet stopped before it hit him. So
Well, true.
It's kind of a
True.
cheat.
True.
Shot
at.
Yeah.
There's a distinction.
Tomato.
This is not a recommendation for people to encourage being shot at to try to get stuff from Bethesda.
Hey, man, I want a T-shirt. Shoot me.
No, just shoot at me, man. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Make sure you use VATS so it isn't lethal.
Yes. Yeah, so you hit the right spot. Yes.
Well, thank God there's no VATS in Skyrim.
Oh, yeah. No, it would take you out of it too much.
Yeah, I think so.
And really, isn't archery deadly enough without bats? I mean,
Well, yeah, sometimes it feels like it's the only thing that works.
yeah. It definitely guides you towards archery. I would say.
Yeah.
Because you can pretty much take out anything when you get to certain levels.
Yep.
Which is
Yeah, I
very
think so.
true.
That's the chief complaint, of people too about, from we hear about that, right? As role players, we hear about that from people who are like, what can I do to keep from having my character always turn into an archer? You know,
Never pick up a bow.
Play an archer.
yeah.
Yeah, don't play an
Bow.
archer.
It's simple.
Well, that was easy. Next question.
Let's say you're allergic to strings.
Like Eric
What
the
you
Viking.
do? Can you channel that character who's allergic to strings? Or perhaps you have some kind of deep-seated psychological issue. Perhaps your father was garroted before your very eyes, and now you can't be anywhere near a string.
But I would like to be a long distance mage.
These are literally the
yeah.
kinds of questions that we answer. We get these kinds of emails from our on our website and stuff like that, and during chat sessions from people who are like asking us these kinds of questions. Sometimes it's really difficult. I mean, sometimes we're just scratching our heads like, I really don't know how to help you with that. I mean, we've been role playing for a long time, but I don't know how to help you stop playing a character that's always the do-gooder.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. But those are the kinds of things that we strive to help people with. I mean, that's part of the reason we created the podcast. So,
Well, I think you've sort of, a lot of good role playing is improv anyway, right? So you have to be in the moment. You can't plan ahead too much.
Right.
So,
Although the minute that you say that you're allergic to, the bowstrings, for example,
Right.
it limits a few things because you're likely also not
Yeah.
going to have any easy time going in and approaching anybody
Yeah.
playing musical stringed instruments.
Yeah, no bard.
think-
Yeah.
what we often try to do is we try to help people establish some kind of a frame down to the gnat's ass about what your character did, where they were born, who their parents were, all these kinds of things. You don't need that. What
Not
you
unless you're
need
Stu.
is a framework so that you can understand why or how your character would make decisions in different kinds of situations. And some of that is also, pertains to creating some weaknesses or vulnerabilities for your character and then establishing some play rules that help steer you in these other directions and force you to try new stuff. That's the amazing thing. I mean, I've played so many characters in this game and thousands of hours invested over 5 or 6 years, and I am still discovering new things all the time. And, even vanilla locations I've never been to before, which is, to me, completely bananas to consider that there are places on the map I've not seen before. So, the potential is there. I think sometimes people just get in a rut, and try
For
to
sure.
come out of the rut if we can.
Yeah,
Well,
I definitely used to.
One of your earliest several episodes you did on character framework, those are really good episodes. I would encourage people to go back and listen to them because they're very wise in the ways of just doing exactly that, building a framework for a character without having to plan.
Right.
Yeah, don't let yourself get mired in the details.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like real life, there's got to be some flexibility in decision making, and
Well, that's the whole point, is try to give it some kind of real life feel. So
Yeah.
that's why these characters grow, and things do change.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game really helps you with that, especially if you know it reasonably well. I mean, we did a series recently, and it's still going on actually, of audio Let's Plays, and I did the companions, and I used the enhanced Skyrim factions, and I put Arissa in there with it, and it was a lot of fun because if you know some of the dialogue well enough, you can play off the NPCs, and it really sounds natural, and especially in an audio setting where people can't see you selecting dialogue and stuff.
Right. Oh yeah. No, that's brilliant.
And it really works out well. But yeah, especially when you've played the game a while and you really know what's coming, you can sort of separate that part of your brain and sort of dive in and have a lot of fun with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think what we found to be kind of remarkable too is how the exercise of, coming up with some of these ideas leads people into all kinds of interesting creative pursuits, different kinds, right? I mean, the videos that I make, the story-based videos that I make, are just an expression of creativity. It's a form of storytelling. But we see a lot of people in the Character Crusade community who have taken up writing and who are producing artwork, or all these kinds of interesting things that people have started doing to try and find new and cool ways to define who their character is beyond what the game allows you to just see on the surface, which I think is pretty neat. So Joe is a prime example of that.
What's that?
Writing.
Of the writing.
Oh.
The journaling and all that stuff. Well, besides being a
What not to
dickhead.
do.
Where did you think I was going?
That's Mr. Big Dickhead to you.
Sorry. Oh, yes. I apologize.
Biggest dickest.
But, I mean, Joe has done all kinds of journaling, which has led into a lot of other creative pursuits related to writing. Which
and a lot of it's just kind of playing off what the game gives you. So kind of on the flip side of, knowing the game is not always knowing what it's going to throw at you, and then just kind of dealing with it. So it's fun from that perspective.
Yeah, I like the journaling because we get it depends. We had a run of people sending in things, their journal entries and things like that.
Oh, sure.
And it rotates through. You get people for a little while and then a different person for a little while.
Yep.
But I've always loved when people do that because I'm like, it's not something that I naturally do, so I appreciate when other people do. I happily.
No, we get similar submissions of these character concepts and things that they've done based on shows that we've put on, and it's fun to read, and we don't always have the time to go through each and everything that people send us, but it's a great validation of kind of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and even if somebody's not a really great writer, it's very often that the insights and observations are really eye-opening. I've read some of these, and people don't know how to use paragraphs or punctuate sentences, but it's really the ideas are fascinating. It's really cool.
For sure.
And people gravitate to what they feel comfortable with and what they feel good about, as long as it helps them enhance their Skyrim experience in some way, make that next playthrough better than the last one was. It doesn't matter. It could be a bulleted list and some graphs and charts, and it doesn't matter. But it's pretty amazing stuff. I mean, as Joe was saying too, we get lots of inquiries, emails, and stuff like that. People contact us, on YouTube and stuff, asking us to look at ideas or give them feedback. And we, frankly, haven't had time to respond to all of them. And I feel bad about that. We all do. So part of what we did was to create this community, right? We run on Discord, and those folks are all coming together now and helping each other out too, right?
No, that's
so
great.
Every once in a while we can chime in, but we don't have to quite feel so bad about not being able to contribute something to
coming together and
everybody's
helping
ideas,
each other.
And it's up 24 hours a day. And when I'm in there, it's actually pretty lively, which is great.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. You can pop in there any time of day and there's some conversation going on.
You've missed 11,000 conversations.
I know.
I tried to follow the Discord for a while, and I just got totally overwhelmed.
You can't keep up with it, and you can't try. You just got to
click one, scroll to the bottom.
Which is a good problem.
It is
absolutely
for sure about a community, because you don't have to worry about always being on there. And if you pop in, people have a great conversation. If you can stay for a while, that's great. If you can't, then just pop in.
Someone else fills the void. So
yeah,
we've got some great people following us. So
totally agree.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, of any of the shows, is the community that comes up around it. That's kind of what helps them keep going, really. Because without that, we would I would just be some sad, lonely guy in the basement.
Up and
Yeah.
And not only is it helpful for the other folks in the community, but we can get ideas from it as well. What are people asking questions about? What do people like? What do they not like?
What kind of direction to take something?
Yeah, I mean, we relentlessly mine that community for ideas about
Whether they
podcast
know it or not.
topics and stuff like that. Yeah, man, we're always digging around in there like, yeah, such and so was saying this, and let's steal that because that's a great idea.
We could talk for easily 5 minutes about that.
Joe, why don't you say that was your idea?
Well, you have to. At some point, you have to, because you only have so many ideas in your own head.
Well, that's the beauty of the community,
Yeah.
The collective thought.
Yeah, for sure.
And attribute it to the people when you can. I mean, it makes a big difference when the community's had something out there, but sometimes you don't remember who it was that said it because you read it 11,000 conversation points ago, and now it's time to talk about it. So it might have been Hawkeye, or it might have been Gemma, or it might have been somebody else, but maybe it was me.
I'm pretty sure it was me.
Oh man!
How good was the idea? Yeah,
Nice.
that was brilliant. Oh, it had to be me. Yeah, for sure.
Now you've kind of eased back on the length of the shows too, right? From last year, like the end of last year, they were pretty long, like 2 hours. Some of them 2+.
You have to. Yeah, we did some long ass ones.
Yeah.
I think we've had podcasts in excess of 3 hours.
Yeah, for
but,
sure. Yeah.
Hey, that whole series got me to Florida and back. So
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Sweet.
yes. Yeah, Victor's diehard. He's a serious glutton for punishment, man.
Yeah. It's fun though.
Yeah, well, we've dialed back the length of the episodes and the number that we're producing. Now we're only doing one a month.
Yeah.
But
In large part, it allows us to diversify a little bit, too.
You'll have to excuse me. I'm running my Keurig machine here. Yeah, I mean, for us, in part, it was about dialing it back a little bit just because we wanted to give ourselves some flexibility to try some other stuff. One of the things that I think is pretty prevalent and pretty obvious when it comes to Character Crusade podcast and Couch Warrior TV is we like to experiment with this game. We've tried all kinds of crazy experiments, right? And so in that spirit, we wanted to try some new stuff, and we realized that the amount of time that we have to spend together in the studio every month is really limited. So, if we feel like we're at the point where as podcasters, we can come up with one really good quality episode per month, and we can fill in the rest of the time actually playing the game and applying some of the things that we've discussed. That might be interesting, right? So that's why we're doing stuff like the 3-play, where, we do a series where all three of us are on the mics as one person is playing, which is a completely different experience. It's very, very cool. And it's a lot of fun to try and role play as a group. We've tried, creating characters who make decisions based on random die rolls of story dice, not traditional dice, but story dice.
Those are fun. I've tried those a couple times too since I heard about them on your podcast.
It's really
don't be afraid to tell Rory about that.
Yeah, Rory loves it when people talk about his story cubes. So yeah,
no, they're fantastic. It's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of flavors out there to choose from.
Oh my God, yeah. So
part of it though is that if you were not an experienced role player, and I would put myself into that group, when you can use things like the story cubes or some of these other pieces that really just feel like a wedge between you and what it could be,
it just kind of helps stimulate your imagination a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think we're always looking now for more and better ways to involve our community in crafting the story. And the story dice was a really interesting thing to do because in the context of a 3-play, we'd all put our heads together and try and figure out what the hell does this role mean? Like a tree and a basket and a freaking wand. I mean, what does this mean? What do we do with this? And it seemed like whenever we got stumped, the chat room would light up.
Oh, yeah.
And they would say, "What if it was this?" And we would say, "That's a great idea. I'm glad we had that idea." Let's take credit for that
I
quick.
just thought of something.
Oh God, our community is going to hate us if they listen to this.
All of them.
Yes.
Keep giving us your ideas.
For free. We got to add that on. But the experimentation is what really gets me jazzed about this game. Still, we tried doing the whole choose your own adventure thing. It was so much freaking work. It was a cool idea, but it ended
requires
up
so much production work,
freaking work that we couldn't make it go. And I got to believe there could have been a better way to do it, but. Again, that was another.
Well, all the media production lackeys forgot to show up for like months at a time, and
what I wouldn't give for
those lackeys, God,
can't count on them.
So undependable,
so unreliable.
We need interns that pay us.
Mm-hmm. But like you guys were saying before, I mean, again, this is a testament to the game and the fact that it creates this framework that you can use to tell stories. And if you're willing to really dive deep,
right,
you can do some cool stuff, man. Yeah.
Well, that's why 6 years after, I'm just starting to really think about getting into the creation kit because, I'm thinking it might be a big thing, and if I can get on the leading edge of that.
Well,
so what is this creation kit of which you speak? I'm not familiar with that.
That's Joe on the bleeding edge.
Cutting edge.
It might be the back edge.
Yeah.
Hey, double edge. I'll take anyone.
Well, speaking of mods, and sort of a little bit of the alternate part of your whole thing is the very highly produced stuff, which I think is some of the best of its sort on YouTube, really. And so as somebody who really enjoys using mods myself, I'm always amazed to see the kind of things that you guys do with mods like alternate actors and stuff like that. There's some really cool stuff that you've done with that kind of thing. And I mean, the first time I saw, I think it was Norelian acting under control, clearly under your control. I thought, wait a minute, what the fuck? How'd you do that? There's some really good stuff in there. So kudos. Full disclosure, I am a Patreon supporter, and thanks for that case of scotch, by the way. It was great.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. See how we took credit for that? See how smooth that was?
Smooth as a case of
yeah. Well, we do appreciate the support, Victor, and we realize that you have been a supporter for a while now. So we really do appreciate it. It's a small community of people who are really good to us, and we really appreciate it because it's allowed us to do all of this.
Well, I think it's really important to support stuff like that, whether it's you or anybody on Patreon or wherever. I think it's important that people step up and support it.
And it doesn't have to be much. And that's the thing is that Patreon gives such a broad access to so many different kinds of creativeness around the planet that, I mean, it doesn't have to be very much. I mean, you may have younger folks or older folks or folks in the middle doing gaming and artwork and music. And it's just amazing the things that you can see if you're willing to stumble through Patreon for a little while. And if you find something, just give it a go for a little while.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, people are so appreciative. I mean, $1 a month doesn't seem like anything, but it makes the difference between not having mic cables and having mic cables. You know? And it comes down to little things like that. I mean, it's taken us 2 years to get to the point where we can plug in and have a Google chat like this without having horrible feedback and echoes and all kinds of stuff.
I was shocked at how much better our microphones worked once we had cables. I mean, it was insane. Yeah.
So the tin cans and the wires just weren't making it for you.
You never get them tight enough.
We would set the microphones around the table, but we would shout past them into the laptop mic. That's kind of how it went. We sort of pretended so we could work on our microphone acumen, So, no, seriously though, Matt's totally right. I mean, I think a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to contribute because $1 doesn't mean anything. Well, it's not, for us, it's not about the money. Every time somebody throws $1 our way, it's a vote of confidence. It's like they're saying, hey, we feel like you're going the right direction. Keep doing what you're doing.
I think too, in the inverse, there's probably a fair amount of folks that, feel they can't contribute enough, so they don't contribute anything. I can't give you 10, 15, 20, 25, whatever,
Yeah. That's not what it's about, man.
No.
So, yeah.
Whether it's for us or for you or for anybody else, it's just, when you find something that you like, it's a real simple way to show it.
Oh, for sure. Because I have a bunch of active Patreon things I send out there. And, some of it's stuff, it's not all podcast stuff. There's, a bunch of different things.
And whatever appeals.
Yeah. And sometimes it's things that I'm not even involved with anymore, but I'm like, I know that person's doing something good. So I'm like, for that, whatever, $2, I'm like, well, I'd probably wasted at Starbucks anyway, let's be honest, or something like that. And like I'm not missing that $2 right now at the moment for me. So, at least it's, even if it's just that boost of confidence, it's something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And $2 worth of confidence is, you had to start somewhere. So.
Right. I think one thing that's been interesting for us is using Patreon in tandem with Discord, because Discord gives us such nice control over the groups or the roles and the permissions in there. A lot of the stuff that we offer patrons is stuff related to extra content. And there are quite a few people that because of the way things are structured on or on Discord, because of the way that we can control permissions and add people to different groups, we're able to sort of make people who are not Patreon contributors, but who are contributing something valuable to what we do. We sort of make them honorary patrons. We give them access to groups in Discord that we're posting content for patrons only, because they're contributing something else to us in the form of work or support or something else that we find equally valuable. So using those two things together has been really great.
And they still must wear the robe and go through the initiation.
Yes, exactly. Yes, the paddles.
That was rough, man. I'll tell you what.
But that we take support in any form it'll come, and sometimes that's on Patreon, and sometimes that's people who are like, hey, I'm an artist and I can help you here. And we'll be like, okay, that sounds great. Here, have access to this, group on Discord, and you can watch all the Patreon only videos. Enjoy, So, we definitely do appreciate our community. I think for us, oftentimes it's the reverse kind of situation where we are always worried about whether or not we're providing enough value.
That's very true.
For those people, So.
Yeah, for sure. You worry. It's like, oh, well, now you don't want to feel like it becomes a job at some point. You still want it to be enjoyable and not like you owe it to something, but that you're still doing what you enjoy and just people appreciate it, I think.
I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's one of the reasons why finding new content and new reasons to still be energized about the game or the play or the idea of role play keeps coming back, because there are so many people who are very good at it, and there's still a lot of people who have never been exposed to it. So if we can keep up the level of enthusiasm, this far on, makes a big difference. And, when it's playing new games or trying new things, whether it's tabletop or anything else, it's just a way of trying to broaden some of the visibility. Like you were saying, some of the role play tactics that Stu and Joe really talked about very early on in the podcast are absolutely applicable even in a lot of other game genres, which is fun. So,
yeah. I think that one of the things that I find interesting, too, about Patreon in particular is how it brings together sort of unusual groupings of people. So when I think about it, for example, Anai Scion makes some of the best mods imaginable for people who really love role play. I don't think there are many people who would argue with that. Right? And then you've got, dudes like Dark Fox 127 who makes some of the best tutorials for people who care to make mods, and it's interesting how on Patreon you can support those people from what would normally be considered disparate communities who all provide something to the role-playing effort, whereas perhaps in the past these groups wouldn't have been connected,
Yeah.
So I can show my support for Nai Scion and say, hey, keep making really cool stuff. And I can show my support for Dark Fox and say, hey, keep teaching me how to make cool stuff, and then I can go ahead and I can support Rycon as well and say, hey, keep making cool stuff. We're all related in some way, even though, if it weren't for Patreon, you wouldn't kind of see the thread that connects these folks, right?
It's difficult for the modders in particular because the EULA specifically prohibits them, the ZeniMax EULA. So their Patreons have to be for specific private projects.
Yeah.
But that's fine. It's still worth contributing because it goes to a larger pool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's very important. And you're right. United Cyan makes superb mods, and they're elegantly written, so that they're so beautifully integrated and rarely ever cause problems. They're excellent mods.
It's very well thought.
Yeah. I mean, I recently started doing a series because I wanted to highlight some of the spells in his spell package.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Man, it was really eye-opening. Like, I knew there was good stuff in there, and I knew that if I really thought creatively, I could find really interesting ways to use these spells. But until I got into that series and really started recording videos, I was shocked, really, at some of the crazy stuff I could do.
The shadling stuff you're talking about, that's...
Oh, yeah, the shadling for hire stuff.
Yeah, that's... I've tried to recreate some of the things you do. I haven't quite figured it out yet.
It's like
I haven't tried.
He's created this awesome toolbox for just incredible experimentation. I mean, if you're interested in seeing, what would happen if I cast this spell and I cast this spell and I dropped a guy on an acceleration rune and I, blah blah blah. Like,
I thought he was going to start singing there.
It's so nice.
Holy hell. Sorry. These guys are making me try a beer here that is about the hoppiest thing I've ever tasted.
Oh, really?
Wow. That's amazing.
It tasted like lemonade, and then it all of a sudden punched me in the face with freshly mown lawn. Bitter.
Oh, God.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Not
Anyway,
bad.
guys, I was really talking about something that is super important and philosophical.
You were going to drop this guy and drop this guy.
Yeah. You heard what I'm saying. Yes. No, I'm just, it's a testament to the dude, right? Because when you really look at what's going on there, he's not using SKSE.
No.
He's using just the stuff that was given to him by Bethesda for the most part, right? And he's come up with all these amazing things. And what's interesting to me is I feel like I've just scratched the surface, which means that he knows the potential of all these spells he's created.
I'm so excited, and this hasn't come out yet, but it will.
What?
I was able to finally purchase a new spell.
Oh, wow.
It was actually a summon rune. So
the summon rune is a favorite. Summon rune.
I need so much more cash.
Well, what you got to do is see what I did is I came up with a character premise that didn't require me to have any cash. It was totally plausible for me to console in every damn thing.
How convenient.
Doesn't allow that.
How convenient.
So if you don't mind, sort of taking this into a mod, even more mod direction, because that's sort of where I'm at with the game. Your use of, like I mentioned earlier, alternate actors. At some point way back on one of your, I think it was one of your videos, you talked somewhat about some of the mods you use, and you mentioned familiar faces. That's a mod that I used a while back, and it was a great mod that had lots of potential and didn't quite fulfill it completely. You know, it was never totally stable. And I wondered if you've actually used it for any of these series that you've done alongside mods like alternate actors.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we did a couple episodes earlier on called Project Epicosity, where I suggested that people could use something like familiar faces to, you know, play a character through, say, the companion's quest line and have them become Harbinger, then make them into an NPC, and then have a different character become the Archmage, and assemble them into a party that pursues one of the main quest lines later, right? Great in theory, right?
Yeah.
But in practice, like you're saying, there were some stability issues. I never encountered many stability issues with familiar faces. However, admittedly, I only created 3 NPCs using it and then never went beyond that, because at some point I got to the point in my stories where I felt like I wanted to have more control over the NPCs that I was using. And I went beyond that concept and started making my own NPCs and creation kits, so I kind of abandoned the concept. And I think there may be some people who followed it through much further than I did and encountered issues. I mean, I did not use it as extensively as maybe some folks had. I had heard reports that there were maybe some issues with it.
Yeah.
I love the concept, though.
Yeah, and the mod author has been working on some big project. I think it's Vertiron, I think is the mod author's name, and he or she has been working on some deep dark secret. So hopefully, and I think again he or she mentioned in one of his posts on that mod page that is trying to integrate what they learned from familiar faces into this new mod. So hopefully,
that's encouraging.
Yeah, but well, that's interesting to know. I wondered how much experience you'd had with it, because I'd had pretty much the same experience. It does not work across profiles well at all. I tried that, so you have to play it within a profile, whether it's different, saves within a profile. It's difficult to make it work.
Yeah,
to its full potential.
How cool is that, though? I mean, kind of to circle back on the longevity of the game. There's still a lot of people making mods for this game.
Yeah.
You know,
ridiculous. Yeah.
Dark Fox is still making mods for this game.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
For special edition.
Yeah, both special edition and this one and Legacy. So,
yeah, and the cool stuff is still really, to be honest, is really still coming out more for Legacy than it is for special editions, simply because of SKSE, right? So
yeah, that's a big hamstring for a lot of mods.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like, from what I've kind of
it doesn't
that it's going to be anytime soon.
Yeah,
if at all.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
It's too bad.
Not totally. I mean, that's a big undertaking.
Yeah,
for sure. You don't just make something 64-bit from 32. You know.
Yeah, I thought it was just a save as.
Oh yeah,
save as 64-bit.
Yeah, that's in all my drop downs.
Yeah, you just press that convert to 64 button, and you're done.
How hard can it be?
Yeah. I remember the good old days when I used to do a mock-up of a website in Photoshop and just save as website. Done.
Save as website.
Wait a minute, you're talking about Dreamweaver? I don't.
No.
Direct save right out of Photoshop before integration with Dreamweaver.
Yeah.
And then you only had to go in and do cleanup on one of the 900,000 layers that were.
Oh my God!
Oh, look at that! That section is.
Thank you for bringing that nightmare back. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, the mod community to me is an exciting thing. I think, for me, Fallout 4 is a great example of that right now.
Oh, sure.
I've put off playing Fallout 4 for a long time. I mean, I enjoyed Fallout 3 immensely.
Yeah, me too.
And I've put off Fallout 4 for a long time because I knew that it really wasn't going to suit my style. I like to voice my own characters. I don't like to be railroaded into storylines, stuff like that. But now the mods have gotten to the point where I can have a silent protagonist, I can have an alternate start, and I can play Fallout 4 the same way that I would tell a story in Skyrim now.
Yeah. It's still a little tougher than Skyrim because the sort of the branching quests and the, so to speak, factions aren't quite as separated as they are in Skyrim, so they're still integrated into the main story. But it is possible, and it's. I played a hell of a lot of it when it first came out, several hundred hours, and then kind of just put it aside. And then one of our group, Andrew, managed to suck me back into it recently, and I've just been playing the hell out of it, and for the last 3 or 4 weeks since. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I think the biggest challenge that I'm facing right now is, in light of the fact that I'm doing a pretty involved storyline in Skyrim with Ashes, and I'm starting a new one in June in Fallout 4 called St. Billy.
Oh, cool.
Trying to make sure that I'm able to stay enthused for both at the same time and continue to produce 3 episodes a week. So 1 episode of Ashes, 1 episode of Ashes 2, and 1 episode of St. Billy each week is my objective. And I'm, understanding my own limitations. I'm a person who gets obsessive about something and then, dedicates a lot of time to it. So I get a little bit worried, am I going to have the discipline, the self-discipline, right, to pull off of a game that I might be super excited about, to re-engage with one that I haven't looked at in a week, that kind of thing. But I'm excited about, getting back into the wasteland and playing with guns and, all the stuff that game makes available to you that you don't get to play around with in Skyrim. So.
Yeah, that's true. It's similar enough mechanically, but where you can transition between the two easily, but it gives you such different worlds to play in.
Right.
Oh yeah, the atmosphere is just completely there. It's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Matt and I were talking earlier because neither of us have ever actually played Fallout.
Nope.
I have Fallout 3 on my Steam account, but I haven't installed it yet. I've kind of got wrapped up in the fantasy fiction, if you will, with Skyrim, and I'm kind of focused on that. But it's a really pretty game.
It was pretty epic. There's a tremendous advantage of being able to see it run so smoothly and not really worry about whether or not you're going on missions specifically. So you get sort of the lay of the land.
Get a better
feel.
We were
going through it tonight, but it looked like a really great game. I have never picked it up. I've just only seen Fallout 4 through other people's gameplays on YouTube, and it's very different to sit here and sort of watch the real-time navigation. So,
yeah, I sort of had this fantasy, that when the next version of Skyrim comes out, that some of the construction and settlement capabilities that we see in Fallout 4 might be present in that game.
Oh, I think there's no doubt of that, don't you? I mean, that's
God, I hope so.
Got to be it's got to be, because I think Bethesda knows that people really, really like that. I mean, there's some people that hate it, but that's fine. They don't have to do it. I think Bethesda knows people really love that kind of stuff.
So do you think they're going to go to Blackreach? Not Blackreach, but
that would be an amazing.
Well, they might go to Blackreach really extensively.
Oh my God, we left out so much detail the first time.
Argonia.
Oh no, Black Marsh.
Black Marsh, yeah.
Black Lights.
Black Light.
I hope not.
Go to Black Light.
Actually, I heard an interesting proposition the other day that
Victor's got something to say that's important. You guys be quiet.
Oh no! I heard an idea that they might go to Akavir, which would be very cool.
That would be
like
another
that.
interesting one.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I don't think there's any chance of it, but it would be. It was a nice theory anyway.
So are we still like 3 years out, probably?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Sadly,
4
yeah.
or 6. I don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's part of the problem, here for us too, is when I started the podcast, I thought this would be perfect. Well,
2 years and a
we'll
new
spend
game
a
will be out.
couple years priming the pumps, right?
Yep. There you go.
And then it was like, oh my God, I don't know, guys. I mean, I feel like I've talked about so many things, and we come up with a topic for another 4 years. I don't know. Just awful.
Well, they are coming. They do have a new IP, I guess. So maybe we'll hear about that in E3 this year. So.
Oh, that's right. There's that new. Was it space involved or something?
That's the guess.
Rim?
Yeah.
Space Rim.
Space Rim.
64-bit Space Rim.
The Dwemer flew to the moon, and one of the moons, and
Actually, they're going to save themselves time, and it's going to be 8-bit.
It's going to be 8-bit.
Well, that's the other possibility is that Bethesda will decide to go back and remake something, like go back to Daggerfall or something. That would be interesting.
Well, yeah, they've been introducing. They've got Morrowind that they're reintroducing to ESO.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm not a big MMO person, so that doesn't really do much for me. But I know there's a lot of Morrowind fans out there that are.
I tried playing it on Xbox 360, and man, it was tough.
Yeah.
I was like, "What am I doing? What is going on? What in the world is happening here?"
I don't know. I tried to. I mean, I got a copy of it for PC. I got about 4 hours in.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't get past the art style. I couldn't get past all the clowns,
all the people
running around,
The combat stuff. That's
like, what the hell is this? Like, it's not suitable, I guess, for my style of gameplay. I love that people are out there doing it because
a lot of people like it, but
yeah,
it pushes the lore forward. It pushes the world forward. It does all these great things.
Although I don't think the ESO lore is actually canon.
Oh, really?
I thought I had heard that at some point, but it might have changed.
I don't know.
I tried it. It just wasn't for me. I mean, I've played, 10 hours, 15 hours here and there, and it just...
Not your thing?
No, it just wasn't.
Made it further than I did.
Yeah. I gave it a go a couple times, but it wasn't my thing, that's all. Good
Incidentally, several copies of ESO available on Etsy right after this program.
I'm going to eBay my copy.
That's an excellent idea. I think I have two.
That's great, but it's also a little... I wish they'd move that energy into another series.
I wonder how much they. I mean, I know it's sort of both a flea and a dinosaur in the room for them, and that's the modding community. I wonder how much they worry about and trying to integrate that into the next game. And whether they want to try their hand at paid mods again and. I don't know how. There's a lot of stuff going on right now with copyright infringements and lawsuits. I don't know how many of you guys have been following much of that, but the MXR thing and stuff that.
Yeah,
and that was kind of a really unfortunate incident, and on all sides, and you got to know that ZeniMax and Bethesda are looking at that, but I have no idea what conclusions they're drawing from all of it. Whether they're just saying, it's just a bunch of drama and we don't have to worry about it, or whether
I'm guessing that they kind of hold themselves above it, and they probably
but do you think they would? I don't know. I don't know how much of it informs or affects their decision making. I just don't.
I don't know. I mean, we did a panel discussion a while back, and it seemed like the prevailing thought amongst our panelists, which I think was Michael from Gamer Poets and Jessa and Dark Fox and Cal, that Bethesda doesn't give two shits about what's going on in the mod community. Either
unless they can monetize it, right?
Marketing perspective unless they can monetize it,
but
right?
It also allows them to keep from having to release a new game because the modders are keeping this one alive. That'll keep people happy. They can focus on other games that are going to make them money without expending any extra capital.
You would think.
That's true, yeah.
But who knows?
No, I'm saying that there's a reason to just leave it be, right? Because it's a community that's somewhat self-supporting, even if we start to get a little caustic once in a while.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, for folks who are listening who aren't familiar, the MXR issue was that, MXR did a negative review of a mod, and then that modder went after him in court. I mean, it was, in my view, it was a debacle. I mean, MXR, I do not necessarily care for a lot of his content, but I don't believe that, I don't believe that he was wrong in that situation.
Well,
that's
it's his opinion.
It's his opinion.
Yeah, there's fair use precedents there and all kinds of stuff. I not to plug another YouTuber or anything, but there's a guy out there. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's an interesting character. His YouTube name is ASAPodcasting, and he's done a lot of really interesting talks about this kind of stuff. And he did one recently that he's done a fair amount of research on it, and some of it he became somewhat controversial because of one of his earlier ones, but he's made a recent one in which he admits being wrong about some things, but he's got some interesting perspectives, and some of it will make some of this a lot more clear. So he's worth checking out.
Yeah, he did an episode, I think it was a full hour devoted to the MXR issue, where he just kind of broke it down. Obviously, a lot of it was his opinion about, who was in the right or who was in the wrong. But I feel like a lot of what he was saying was actually based in fact,
Yeah.
Legal.
And he actually consulted copyright lawyers and various other things. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely helpful to listen to someone like him on a topic like that, because I think we all have valid concerns about what's going on in the mod community. Paid mods. Yeah, I think everyone agrees that was probably a pretty crappy idea. We all have a vested interest, however, in the long-term relevancy of the game, right? And if the mod community suddenly folds up because everybody's getting sued or feels like making a mod puts them at risk in some way, so much of what we've come to enjoy in Elder Scrolls is the added functionality, flexibility, extra fun, and longevity of the game that's added by the mod community.
Well, yeah, and if it starts going to that downslide, is Bethesda going to even throw out the creation kit as an option?
That would suck.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going. It'd
be awful.
Yeah, will they say, it's just not worth all that added hassle?
Exactly. That's a viable possibility, and that would be horrible.
Yeah, I think that's a short-sighted decision, though, because the
Agreed.
modding community keeps their games viable exponentially longer.
Oh, yeah, it's extended the life of Skyrim for, 6 years.
Yeah, and look how many games have come and gone in the meantime.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be interested to know how much Bethesda or ZeniMax have sort of drilled down and said, well, how much money has this longevity
generated
bequeathed to us by modding actually made us?
Yep.
Have the sales really gone on? I mean, because Skyrim, all their games are, the large percentage of it are console sales, right? So the modding on consoles is very recent. So I don't know. Maybe it has. I mean, certainly for me, I mean, when I started playing Skyrim on a 360, and my kids, who are all gamers, my oldest said, "Hey, there's these mod things," and this was back in 2012 or something. So I immediately ran out and bought a $2,000 laptop and started modding, and
that was rational.
Yeah, totally rational, as all my purchases are, especially technology purchases, but. And so of course I bought a copy of the game on PC, and then SE came out, I bought that. I bought it on PS4. I bought it on Xbox. So I'm their ideal customer, but I don't know how much how much money they actually make.
They probably have a picture of you on their desk.
I sincerely hope they do.
Yeah, single-handedly propping up sales.
And it's that one where I'm frowning and pointing at them and saying, "Make the next one now."
Yeah. What the hell? What's going on? Don't make me come over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, make me come over there. Yeah. Make me come over there.
Yeah. Maybe come over and play test whatever you got. I don't care. Yeah. I don't know. It's a pretty incredible phenomenon. It's gone beyond. I feel a game into a phenomenon.
For sure.
See it so many years after its release, appear in the top, RPGs for Game Informer. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I mean,
one of them had made their top 5. I was listening to that podcast they did.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
Well, another 4 years, and it's going to be 8K, 64-bit. Right? Yeah. And along with the game, you'll have to buy a new laptop while you're in store. So the game and the new laptop.
I'll be right there. Yep.
$100.
Buy the laptop, and it comes with Skyrim pre-installed.
And it's the only thing on the hard drive.
Yeah, with all the Anision mods already loaded. Right?
Yeah. We've play tested every mod. All 7,000 are in the mod organization.
Yeah.
Well, Minecraft did kind of they have not, I don't think it's for full mods, but for like in-game textures and stuff and worlds, I believe. There's a store now. So it's
premium game. No, let's not have that.
Yeah, that's like
Skyrim Premium.
Team Fortress is
this is all it's all user
Bellathor to get all my good mods.
Yeah, this is all user generated stuff.
I buy your sister.
I fought your sister. It's a compliment. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it works. I don't play a lot of Minecraft anymore, other than on consoles, where my son drags me into a world and then abandons me in it. But it's
sounds like my daughter.
Yeah. But I guess it's more like skin packs and maps and things like that, and not necessarily mods. But I mean, that seems like a stepping stone, because really, Minecraft is the other super modded game out there. I mean, God, how many was there? A billion mods probably for Minecraft at this point.
Gosh,
but I would say they're two of the top ones, and that could be a type of blueprint for how they might want to go forward. But hopefully not. But hopefully, if they do, it's better than what happened last time. Let's put it that way.
It goes so well.
Yeah. If it does happen, hopefully it goes well. If it doesn't, great. Just support.
A little bit
people.
of backlash.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, it's not like that has ever happened before, Dawnguard or anything like that.
Dawnguard.
Do you remember the Dawnguard stuff? Oh, that was crazy. People were like flipping out because Dawnguard came out later on because it wasn't working on PS3. Yeah, it wasn't working, so it didn't come out for a long time. It was a whole.
I feel bad for the PlayStation people.
It never worked well on that, did it?
On all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that it just never worked right on there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people. Andrew, for instance, played Skyrim, loyally and for many hours on his PS3. So it's possible.
And tried to blow it up, like the Ritual Stone.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just thinking there's such a restriction talking about the console mods.
Yeah,
with PlayStation, which is unfortunate, but
yeah, because they have a very low storage amount, right? What is it like?
Yeah, no external assets.
No external assets.
Yeah. But Sony doesn't really need to make room for that. Sony has its own world and of great games, and
sure enough,
they don't have
the Connect version of Skyrim will be good though. It's sort of a cross between Skyrim and all of the fitness programs.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You actually have to
Ninja for Skyrim. Oh my God!
You literally have to jump up the mountains.
I've been crafting for 11 hours. Why does this have to be real time?
But I can cut this melon.
Look at the melons.
Just wait till it hits the Switch.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, I mean, they did all that promotion.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, you can play Skyrim on the Switch. Is that a reality or not?
I believe it's this fall. It's supposed to be this fall, I believe.
Yeah.
I would assume like a Christmas type release. I would assume.
All right.
It's going to be in that box right there, isn't it?
I think there's a lot of people who thought it was going to be
the steel welded box.
It's a metaphor.
What's in the box?
If you can get it, you can play it.
Sounds like Sony.
Well, first you're gonna have to be able to find a Switch to buy. So that's
Yeah, that's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, the shortage at Christmas will be the Super Nintendo one that'll be coming out. Like they did for the NES. What was the one? The retro one,
mini?
the little mini console. I believe they were moving on to Super Nintendo, is what I had last heard.
Okay.
Which is why they stopped
Do
making
the mini cube. I mean, it's going to be like the size of one of those little fidget things.
Yeah. Oh God, don't mention fidget spinners. Jesus Christ. We just had a big blowout over fidget spinners here. They're taking over the world. They're everywhere now.
They are. That's the one thing that's missing in Fallout 4 is that the ground should be littered with fidget
spinners. Yeah, just everywhere.
Like a fidget spinner mod, and we'll just say this is what brought down the Earth.
You're just constantly tripping over ball bearings and spinning in circles. And
what about could we do some kind of 3-play? I was thinking, Pokemon Go 3-play. Kyle and Joe's car. Camera. It's a Pikachu! I swear to God! Pull over!
I lean out while he's moving. Hold my legs.
Yep. Hold my mic. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think,
I only pull over for coughing.
Part of the reason that Fallout even became a possibility was just the idea that, well, geez, looking for new ways to diversify, but also for us, it was kind of like it might be interesting to try and find a way to apply some of the stuff that we talk about in our podcast to other games that are a bit more restrictive on the role play front, because I mean, Skyrim is literally the most open sort of role play experience you can find, short of tabletop games or LARPing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's not a lot of LARPing going on right now here.
Unfortunately,
there's plenty of it around.
Plenty of around.
Or fortunately, as the case may be.
Yeah.
Next podcast, I will come in full custom. But
it's not just cosplay; it's LARPing.
I know. It's like we're thinking about how do we take the stuff that we talk about in our podcast and apply it to something like The Witcher.
Right.
I mean,
you can't. Yeah,
it's really hard to, right? I mean, it's so restrictive,
so linear. Yeah.
What if I don't want to be Geralt? What if I don't want white long hair and scars? What if I want to be something else? Well, you can't. Sorry.
Well, that's you brought that up. I mean, this whole the Game Informer thing earlier, and top 100 role playing games. 99 of those aren't role playing games; they're character playing games, right? They're,
Sure enough.
Yes, you play a role, but you're fixed. You have attributes that you can select, but it's not a pure role playing experience like the Bethesda games are. I don't know what other games really fit into that category.
Yeah, that's part of the problem, right? Is I think about that as well, that distinction, and I can't find any. I mean,
now they're all kind of on rails, so to speak.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously games in that category that I have a lot of affection for.
Oh, wonderful! Absolutely.
But like you're saying, it's playing someone else's character. It's playing a concept someone else came up with. And to me, that doesn't satisfy the creative itch. It certainly is interesting, to get in and, recently I did a second playthrough of Dishonored. God, I love that game,
It's
but
a wonderful game. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I love the whole, assassin thing, I love that whole idea, and I love the setting and all that stuff, but it's not my character. So I think, for me, one of the issues that we always talk about is, we talk about kind of this sliding scale of what makes a game really good for role play. And we often try to evaluate games and compare them against sort of the ultimate freedom that we have in Skyrim. So, we're looking at things like character customization and choice, and can you choose the actions that you take and stuff like that. And, we even came up with a little, triangle shape, kind of rating system where we kind of evaluate games based on 3 different categories and say, okay, what itch is this game going to scratch? I can make my character look any way that I want to, but my story choices are limited, right? That sounds an awful lot like Mass Effect, right? Where I can make my Shepard look any way that I want to, but he's still frickin' Shepard.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be Shepard. I can be, nice Shepard, or I can be dickhead Shepard.
Or male or female Shepard, right?
Male or female Shepard, but I'm still going on the same quest, and I'm still, so we kind of discussed that recently, that idea of that rating system, and thinking about how can we add some new games to the channel? Can we do replay or 3 plays of different kinds of games, and then discuss them on their merits using a system like that to say, okay, this isn't a Skyrim experience. We all understand that, but what is this game good at, and what do we like about it?
Right.
So that's what we're hoping to do here in the future. Tonight was kind of our first example of something like that, where we're going to stream these games together, and we're going to talk about this rating system a little bit. We're going to put something on the website that says, here's the experience we got out of it. Here's where we found the role play opportunities and where we were a little bit hindered, and, stuff like that. But ultimately, we always find ourselves comparing everything we're playing to Skyrim when it comes to role play.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I guess I don't get to play Frogger then, huh?
What?
Yes. What is your motivation for crossing?
Centipede, Missile Command.
Okay, if we're going to do that, then I'm going to do Pitfall.
All right.
Oh yeah, Pitfall.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Pitfall.
Diddly.
You gotta go all the way back to Adventure. That was my
Adventure.
yeah.
Yes,
That was my first.
Well, my first PC included an updated version of Pitfall, which I'm desperately keen on trying to find out if it'll run like on Windows 10 Pro Home or something.
Did you just say updated version of Pitfall?
Updated version of Pitfall.
Wow. Yeah. It was crazy, man.
Oh,
that
man.
whip looks so real.
Scorpions, I can feel the sting.
What is my motivation here? As I jump this pit, another pit.
And another pit.
And another pit.
And go up and down this ladder because I keep getting stuck.
Over Christmas, I got one of those Atari 2600
With all the little games?
It's got all the games
nice.
on it, right?
Those are awesome.
I got to bring that sucker in.
Does it have video pinball on it? Because
I'm pretty sure it does.
that was the most amazing. I could play that for like 10 hours, one game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the question is does it require the Radio Shack slider so that you could show it on your screen, or does it have because that would be too easy.
Oh my god.
3. No, we're playing Atari now.
What's hilarious is when I was in college, I had an actual 2600 with a box full of cartridges I took to college with me. And we were living in this apartment off campus, and one of my roommates had gotten so good at Atari Pac-Man that we were having a party at our place. Like, everybody was kind of blitzed, and he decided to up the challenge. He laid on the couch upside down, and he played Pac-Man on the Atari upside down, like looking at the television upside down, right? So everything was in reverse, right? And he was still killing it. So,
oh my gosh,
that's my last memory of that. And shortly after that, the apartment building burned down, and my Atari melted. But,
no.
Guess who?
Yeah, go ahead, guess.
Was it Tom?
That would be Tom. Yeah.
Okay.
Tom was
that makes sense.
Atari 2600 Pac-Man master.
That's right. I took a week on his wizardry game, so.
Oh, God, we just dated ourselves. Holy hell.
There are many people listening going, what?
Yeah.
Atari, what?
Not me. I bought a 6-pack on my way home from buying my Atari 2600. A little older than that.
Awesome. But a 6-pack of what? I bought a 6-pack of Yoo-Hoo on my way home.
No, I believe it was Budweiser.
Oh, I was going to go with Zima, but
Zima. Zima.
Oh, wow. The combination of Atari and Zima has never happened.
Are you sure?
Not in my world, anyway.
Yeah, not in my world.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Maybe it was Sam Adams to bring it all back.
Yeah, that derailed quickly.
Yeah, it was awful.
Well,
Thanks,
ironically, ironically, my father, who was in town last week, asked which one of us has the Nintendo.
Was he burning to play it?
No, I don't know. I was wondering. Because the last time I remember seeing our Nintendo, it was being used to play Legend of Zelda for 9,000 hours.
Zelda.
And the only person who had the Nintendo was my older brother, and he was very, very good at Zelda and Russian Attack. And we never had a chance to play anything else because he was always playing Zelda or Russian Attack. And so we may as well not have had a Nintendo so far as my younger brother and I were involved. But apparently it's gone missing.
Your dad just wants to play some freaking Duck Hunt. Can't find the damn thing.
Now that I found this slider, I've got to figure out how to plug it into the television.
Yeah, that was the first game system I ever took on the road with me when I was working on the road.
Nice.
Wow.
It was small.
And I played Zelda.
It was
awesome.
Actually more portable than the 2600 was,
Yeah.
just from a size of controller perspective.
For sure.
Well, that was back when if you disconnected the little RF adapter on the back of the TV in the hotel room, the alarm would go off.
Oh, no.
Yes. Because they thought you were stealing their TV. They had lots of explaining to do.
Yeah. No, really, I just want to play a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, now if I get to
I see you in your hatchback. You're
That's right. Yeah.
television.
Around one hatchback.
Oh, my God.
a pacer and
And now they've got like the flat screens are like taped down with the 3M anti-theft tape, and even if you want to adjust the screen so you can see it from another part of the hotel room, you can't.
That's, yeah, you got to always scout out the hotel what they're gonna. I hate when you get to a hotel, like if I'll bring like our little Alienware mini PC with us when we travel, so we have something to play. And sometimes you'll get to a place and it like everything's blocked off. You can't plug anything in, and I'm like, oh,
that's the worst.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I don't want to watch your 4 channels.
Yeah.
They don't want you to watch the 4 channels either. They want you to buy the premium channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't make out the squiggly image.
Yeah, it was not unheard of.
But I'm going to watch it.
It was not unheard of for me to you're gonna have a seizure.
You know the squiggly image I'm talking about.
But if you push
I
both
did not
buttons
order
at the
that
same
movie.
time.
Neither did I.
Just working that knob, trying to
was
dial the thing in. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as a consultant, I used to travel a lot. It wasn't unheard of to bring an Xbox or a PSP even and try and plug it into a TV somewhere, whatever. Like the desperation for that kind of entertainment was kind of really palpable,
Because otherwise you get stuck watching Three's Company reruns or something.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it'd be like, you're working all day at a client site or something like that, and all you can think about is, God, I can't wait to get out of here and just get back to the hotel room and relax. And you get back there and be like, God, there's nothing to do. And then and then it's like, well, I got this expense account. No, better stay. Yeah, I mean, having something like that. I mean, there were guys I traveled with who they'd bring an Xbox. One guy threw in a keyboard. He had not a computer keyboard, a music keyboard.
Wow.
He whipped that sucker out, and he was playing. He was playing music in the courtyard, like a Marriott courtyard hotel.
Out or what?
No. Pretty soon it was all freaking consultants standing around the fire listening to him play, and he's really good.
I have the Tiger.
Oh yeah, he played that. He played some Steely Dan.
Oh God,
never ended.
Never ended.
Like every Steely Dan song.
Exactly.
Never,
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've never known anybody to travel with an actual music keyboard.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Was it like one of those old little Casio ones for portability, or?
Yeah.
The VL tone. Yeah.
Well, the thing was it was actually a relief that he brought it, because prior to that he was dragging us out to a piano bar every night. And it was like, holy
damn it,
shit.
Piano Man.
It was like, he's a really fantastic musician. You wouldn't know it to look at him, because he looks like a Radio Shack employee or whatever. Like, I don't know how to describe him, but he was an amazing keyboardist and singer. And so every night he'd drag us out to these piano bars, and I'm like, God, I don't think I can go again, man.
Did you start picking songs just to see if he knew how to play them?
Yeah, and he knew them all.
Play something from Zamfir.
From Zamfir. Oh my God, I have a Zamfir 8-track behind me somewhere.
Do you really?
Yes.
Oh, I was trying to go as obscure as I could, and I just didn't do it.
I used to have a Zamfir CD.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Signed flute as well?
No.
Okay.
That's not even called a flute.
It's a pan flute.
Pan flute. Yes. He was the master of the pan flute.
That's right. Bring in the clowns, man. Bring in the clowns.
Oh my gosh. Jesus. Was that only sold on K-Tel Records or what?
Oh God, do you have Hit Express and Hit Explosion by any chance by K-Tel?
What?
They were compilations.
I think I have Radioactive on tape.
Oh man,
It included Electric Avenue, among other things.
I love Electric Avenue. Eddie Grant was very good.
What the hell are we even talking about?
The latest mod from Skyrim, Hit Explosion. No.
Yeah, at what point does this get edited? I don't know.
There is no, there's no editing.
Ooh, a new mod coming on. Bards of Skyrim.
Zamfir would fit in Skyrim, actually.
Zamfir edition. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Eddie Van Halen edition.
Get Sven on the lute.
Poor Sven.
As long as he's wearing spandex, I don't care.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he be?
Oh, God. Well.
Move on.
Ended.
Not to end our conversation here, but
wait, is it over?
But I do actually have to end it because I have to go to bed. But I could talk early '80s K-Tel compilations for days.
But we probably shouldn't.
K-Tel was Minneapolis company, by
That's
the way.
a completely
Was
different
it?
podcast.
Oh yeah, there probably is a one.
Make that podcast, they will come. We will come anyway.
There's got to be a K-Tel podcast out there.
Oh my God, I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up at some point. There's got to be.
I mean, yeah, everything from music to those fancy plastic skis you could strap to your snow boots. They were called. They made everything.
Fun skis.
So yeah.
They were a huge company.
Again, thank you so much, guys, for having us on the podcast. We're sorry we destroyed your podcast, but that's okay. I mean,
it's okay. We destroy it regularly. So.
Yeah, it's usually what happens.
We just generally try to leave things better than we found them. This time it's sort of busted.
We messed up.
Well, let everybody know where to find Character Crusade, Capture Warrior TV, everything. All of it.
Well,
K-Tel
the best
Records.
place to start is to go to charactercrusade.com, and everything is kind of linked off the website. So if you go to charactercrusade.com, you'll find the YouTube channel, you'll find us on social media and all those good things. You'll find our Discord community, our Patreon, all that fun stuff. The podcast itself can be found on iTunes and SoundCloud and Stitcher and all the usual suspects. And then we also produce, typically we're producing a YouTube version also for all of our podcasts. So if you like to listen to us whilst looking at nothing, you have that option. So, yes.
We do that. Yeah, we do that too. Yeah.
That's how most people like it.
Yes, exactly. It's better than looking at us.
I've seen you. I don't need to do it again.
Yes.
Well, I've started doing these Facebook Live things. I don't recommend it because only one camera works. Like you don't switch between cameras like on a Hangout or on YouTube or something. So whoever's running the call is always on camera.
Oh, okay.
So you can never like stop paying attention or anything.
A lot of pressure.
Won't let you do an avatar or anything?
A lot of pressure to always look and
No.
Yeah.
Facebook is like the circle on full transparency. They just want you to show everything.
Everything. Yeah. So like don't accidentally pick your nose or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or accidentally think that you were doing a retake and then realize that you just broadcast it 7 times before you got to the one that you actually wanted to do, like I did 2 weeks ago.
Yes, Matthew is our Facebook expert, as you can tell.
Or yes, now anyway.
Getting released out there was actually like, yeah, so this is actually the 8th take, and I didn't realize that you already saw the previous 7 because that's what Facebook Live means, not Facebook recorded for later.
Oh, it's Facebook Lies.
No,
We thought it
Facebook
was Facebook Live.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Tell me
That's
lies.
your mistake.
Facebook sweet little.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. It's been tons of fun. We do appreciate the invite, and it's great to always commiserate with people who love Skyrim as much as we do. So
Yeah, it's a good time as always.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on, and have to do it again. I think it's been
great.
For sure. This has been a blast.
Yes.
There's only so many of us Skyrim podcasters out there. We got to stay strong.
It's like 5.
Yeah.
Hey, we had 10 people watching our stream tonight. Come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we really drew a crowd.
No, it was up to 14 when I hopped in.
Pretty
Oh, that
impressive
was good.
stuff.
Yeah.
How many accounts were you signed in from?
7.
And how many times did we start the stream while you were watching? 5, 6, 7.
Well, last time I was on, you had the rollerblading guy in the Silver
Yeah.
Blood.
I liked him.
Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know what the deal was.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I don't know what mod that was. I can't remember, but
That was
that was
hilarious.
yeah.
It was like the Red Robin mod or something. No, the Sonic mod.
Sonic mod.
Sonic.
Yeah, everybody
yeah.
wonders, well, gosh, your videos seem so highly produced. Well, they have to be, so I can cut the glitches out.
Like the rollerblading dude.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys
so much. Appreciate it.
Yep, and that's the end of this episode, everybody.
Excellent.
That's how it ends. Goodbye.
Good night, everyone. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Skyrim Addict. You can find all of our contact information, YouTube channel information, as well as other shows over at asapodcasting.com, including our newest show, The Fallout Feed. Special thanks to Claire Lafar for the show's artwork. You can find her stuff at etsy.com/MayaFirePrints, MayaFirePrints. And a thank you to Dan Bull for the use of his music in the roundtable open and close. You can find him on YouTube or iTunes. Just search Dan Bull. Once again, thanks for listening, and later, everyone.